it's raining, it's pouring, the old man's over in the tent snoring, and you decide you're gonna stay under the tarp fly shelter that we set up yesterday and cook. Well, there's an easy way that we can do that. We don't even need to make a fire underneath it. It can be outside of the shelter, and we can make a pretty cool cook system to make life that much easier. Now, when you're initially setting up the shelter, one thing that you can think ahead about is to take this ridge pole and make it extend out the front of the shelter a little bit further than you think you're gonna need, because that is gonna play indirectly to this cook system. Now, for this suspension system, you're gonna take a piece of cordage, double it over, and then you're gonna leave one section of it a little bit longer. So this one end is gonna be just a little bit longer than the other part, but it's still folded over. We're gonna start this fold in, and we're just gonna do a simple overhand knot, leaving a loop on the end of the line, just like that. This loop then is gonna be our starting point. We're gonna come down, and we're just gonna basically make something that looks like a daisy chain. So just a bunch of loops in here. Just pull it through, knot. So see how we're making those loops? You can make these any size you want, any distance apart you want. And after you see what we ultimately are doing with this, is gonna give you a better reference point of how you wanna set these loops up. Now my daisy chain is all complete, and we have a single line. So I grab the stick, you'll see the length you're gonna need a little bit later, and then I put 2 V-notches in that stick, one on each side, to just help everything held in place. I'm gonna tie a quick clove hitch and slide it onto this stick, utilizing those V-notches to help it even hold a little bit better in place. Once that's done, we can go ahead and do our next step. So now I have this contraption made. I have this stick that's about 3 foot in length with a clove hitch and this daisy chain. So what this is going to do now is attach to this ridge pole. Remember, this ridge pole is sticking out further than our fly. So I can use any one of these loops on this daisy chain to adjust the height of this stick, okay? So if we go all the way down to the deepest one, we're that low. Now we can set a fire out in front, and we have ourselves an adjustable cook system. So if we need, again, that pot very low to the fire, we can put it on this setting. If we need it higher just to keep the stuff warm, I could bring it up this way and just let it dangle over the fire during the day. If we have water or anything like that, we just want to keep warm. Now, I know what most people are probably thinking, why isn't this a Y branch? And it can be a Y branch. You can have a hook on the end of it and you will be just fine. But I wanted to show you something else that you can also do that I know a lot of old timers, including Nesmick and Horst Kephart, did all the time. And that is to use a nail. Those guys carry nails with them all the time in the woods. You can just take a nail and then offset that so there's a little bit of an angle, drive that right in to your stick, and now you have a Y branch. You didn't have to go and find one of those all elusive Y branches. You made your own. And then when it's all said and done, you have yourself a adjustable cook system. So just utilizing that nail allows that pot to hang. We'll pretend that this piece of aspen here is a fire. Got the fire crackling, and now I could boil my water. I can also adjust it really quickly on the fly to wherever I want that. So there's literally a ton of different options that you can do with this, but I know I haven't shown this one yet, so this would always be something else that you can do. All this requires is a straight stick and a nail and a little bit of cordage, and you really quickly have a nice cook system out in front of your fly tarp. So it's just another option, and that way you don't have to worry all that much about having that fire under your tarp. I mean, if you get a good strong fire going anyway, even if it's in heavier rain, you should be able to keep that thing managed and going. You're just gonna have to work with a little bit more. So another cook system for the toolbox. This was Dan Bullock, Coalcracker Bushcraft. As always, check us out at coalcrackerbushcraft.com, and until next video, stay in the woods.